I wish all of you watching right now knew like the mood we have right now. Like it's winding down, and like you can tell. Like there's some stuff happening here and there. Like you got to be here to experience it. Adrian Effie,
Meg Kaylee, hello.
we're back again,
Yeah.
and we're still here. We got some stuff in us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff keeping us going right now.
I feel like we're going to get a real energy boost here because we're just about to talk to some really awesome people who are sitting right over here to my left. Would you guys care to introduce yourselves and maybe tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure, awesome. I'm Katie Postma. I work for Stoic Studio on the Banner Saga series. I'm the community manager there. I also do social media. I do their customer service
Awesome.
and general cheerleading all around. I've been there for 2 years now. We're releasing Banner Saga 3 this summer, so we're super excited.
Yeah, I bet.
We're demoing it here at PAX, and prior to this, I've been a community manager at about eight other places. So
Wow.
I love community. It's
I
my
can tell.
career choice. Yeah, I've been doing it forever, and I just love it. So I'm really happy to be here with
That's
you guys.
awesome. Thanks for taking the time to be here. How about you?
I'm Eric. I'm the community manager at Obsidian Entertainment. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. I've been with the company for almost 3. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Community engagement, talking to the fans is great. I love it.
That's awesome. So we're both Twitch streamers, so we're familiar with building a community, but what we do is quite different. So I'm excited to kind of compare and contrast the differences between managing a game community as opposed to a Twitch community.
Yeah.
So what made you interested in managing a community? What got you into it?
Yeah, so for me it started, I had another career and then I had kids and I stayed home for a few years, and then I started playing games, not online games, but games that had online communities, and I jumped into a couple of chat rooms asking for hints and tips. And so about 15 years ago I was doing this voluntarily. I was running like online gatherings and chat rooms and moderating forums for companies, for whom I loved their games and just wanted to pitch in and help. And then Ubisoft actually called me one day and said, would you like to interview? I know this doesn't
that's
happen
amazing.
anymore, but back in the day, before people knew what community management really was, they knew what they needed, but there wasn't really a good name for it. They said, do you want to come and help us manage the community? And so, yeah, I was there early on and loved it. I was there for about 3.5 years, and then, as I said, I've jumped from place to place. But I've loved every community I've been with. I've had great successes. We've had some sad times as well. But I just love it because I can stay at home. I telecommute for work. I travel.
So lucky.
Yeah, but I get to chat with people all day that I love, and most of the time, whether people are happy or sad, they care, and that's what I like about it. They're passionate about it, and so I want to help them be happy if they're sad or happier if they're happy, and yeah, I just love my job. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
So I started in QA,
Cool.
but there's I guess it's kind of different degrees. So I was a live ops tester, and it's mainly going on the forums, communicating with the players, confirming the bugs that they're reporting like that. And I was at a different studio before I got to Obsidian, and then when I got to Obsidian, they hired me to do the same thing. And then I guess the Right Eyes, so Darren, the CFO, and at the time Mikey Dowling, he was the social media manager. They were reviewing how I was engaging with the ticket supports and talking on the forums, and they're like, "Hey, you do really well talking to the players." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess it's pretty cool." And they're like, "How would you like to work up to community management?" And I'm like, "Well, I never considered that because I graduated with an art degree with 3D animation and entertainment art."
Wow.
Because I wanted to go in the game sculpting props and creating weapons and all that stuff. But I found another passion, and it was engaging and talking with the players, so I kind of abandoned the art path and focused more on the community side.
Is 3D modeling still something you think you might be interested in the future?
I've been out of practice for a long time.
I don't even remember it anymore.
When I open up ZBrush, I'm like, what am
How
I
do
doing?
I do this?
Little stick figures.
With art, it's seriously, if you don't practice your art every day, you will lose it.
Yeah.
So
Well, never say never. You could always go
That's
back
true,
someday.
that's true. I
Happen.
can
You
That's
can
true.
do both at the same time.
Yeah.
How do you multitask how much you do as a community manager and reinforce the idea of there's so much going on, but we are listening to you? Because I imagine you can't hit every single thing at once. So how do you kind of pick and choose and navigate that?
Great question.
Yeah, do you want me to take first?
Either one. Go for it, ladies.
Yeah,
Sure.
so for me, what I learned early on is I can't be everywhere at once. I can't be all things to all people. And so one of the earliest things I did was I relied heavily on the veteran community members, the people that are kind of what I call the foundational members. And then, so I always kind of gather a little group. Right now I have what's called a conclave. The Banner Saga has a conclave of 10 people. They've been around since the first game. They're really passionate. And so if I can communicate with them, they can communicate out further and further. So some of them are on Reddit, some are on Twitter or Facebook. So some are streamers, and so it's great because they can get that message out for me really quickly and that social media really helps a lot. We're everywhere at once. So, but yeah, always having that kind of small group of veteran players really helps.
Yeah, it was the same for me. Like getting into on our forums, you can definitely tell like who was there and who's like there for the community and wants it to grow. I just jumped in, and they kind of got to learn me by when I was a QA tester and trying to resolve their issues and report the bugs and verify all that. So that's how they learned to grow to know me. And then when I moved up, they got into the more community management.
Trusted you already.
Yeah, so it was a familiar face they already knew. So,
absolutely.
And then also just managing, like prioritizing, is like a big thing. Like, what is the most important thing, and just work your way down. Like, if you're trying to do everything at once, you're never gonna get anything done. So,
totally
prioritizing, the most like, obviously, like if we release a patch, right, and things are blowing up, and they're like, all right, well, I need to focus everything on this and mitigate all the chaos that's going on. But yeah, so our community is like really great. It's really different from like a live game. Single player RPG players are really hardcore and really passionate.
Of course.
And a lot of times, if there's an issue, we rarely experience any toxicity. So if an issue does come up, they kind of resolve it themselves.
That's the same with ours.
Yeah.
I find I have worked on live games or games that have a patch every week or new content coming out. It's a very different feeling for, kind of a game I call it one and done, even though people replay it and people are always, discovering it.
Right.
But I find that if they have any issues, they're much more patient. They know we're going to solve them and stuff, but they also have this community who's already played it that are willing to help. The other thing is, when you asked about multitasking, I find that if there's something positive happening and a lot of negative, I'll focus on the positive first. That way, it just buoys me up for the rest of the day. Sorry, I have a cough.
No, you're fine.
You're
fine.
Sorry. So, that helps.
It's kind of like buffing yourself in an RPG game. You
Exactly.
get the buff food, and then you can go in and get anything else down and whittle it down.
Yeah.
Exactly it. Yeah.
It's tough because sometimes it can be easier to focus on the negative comments, but it's really important to, hone in on the positive ones because they motivate you, for sure.
Get the water. Time out time.
It's okay.
So what's it like when you're actually here at a convention and you're amongst everyone and you can see like the live product and the live reactions versus if you're in a forum setting, it's kind of like sit back and wait for the result. Where here you can see the actual live results and the feedback on the fly. I'll repeat it quick, just like, hi, welcome back.
It's, you know what?
The
It's
watery
the PAX
eyes.
Plague. It's awful. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
No,
okay.
we'll get you some sanitizer and all that good stuff and
Sound
get you all
like
fixed
Kathleen
up.
Turner.
It adds up quickly.
Yeah.
I was just telling him too, and same to you, it's just when you're here in person, live in front of people, there's that difference of having the live feedback versus actually being in the forums and things like that. So how does that work with being here with a live audience and experiencing that?
It's really crazy because you can tell on the forums that they're really excited and they're really passionate, but when they actually come to you in person, you can see the twinkle in their eyes, and you're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. They're like, I can see their happiness and excitement just pouring out of their body, and it's a whole different experience, and it feels really good. We met and I talked to a lot of fans already, and so we're showing off the backer beta for Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, and some of them are like, I was like, do you want to get in line and play? And they're like, no, I want to wait till it's released because I want to experience everything. I don't want to spoil anything for me. So
we
it's
have
really
the same
awesome.
thing. Yep, we have people that don't want it spoiled. We have people that have come up and they said, did you get my message? I sent you a direct message on Facebook telling you how much the game meant to me. And
That's so cool.
I love meeting people in person. It's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So to all aspiring community managers out there, what would your number one piece of advice be?
Honesty, patience, walk away. Don't ever post something immediately. Like if you feel frustrated or angry or defensive, just don't post. Just wait a beat. Try to figure out, always value why the person is saying what they're saying. So if they're like, I love your game, it's my favorite game, that's easy. You can say thank you very much. But if they say, you guys suck, you should all die in a fire, you're like, okay, why are they saying that? if they didn't care about the game, if they didn't care about your team,
You wouldn't say anything.
they wouldn't
Right.
say anything. They
true.
wouldn't even be there. So the fact that they're that angry and that upset, it's because this is something they love and we've disappointed them somehow. And so the first thing you say is, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Publicly, I would always say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Why don't you just write to our support team, which is also me, which is helpful. Write to our support email and we can discuss this further in more detail. Maybe we can help work you through this. And some people are there to troll, but even then, I think sometimes people just want to hurt others because they're hurting. And so if you think of it that way,
Absolutely.
you'll never really be angry at somebody for being a troll or for being a jerk. You'll just be like, oh, they're hurting, so how can we get to the bottom of that and make them feel better about the game, about anything really. That's how I look at it.
No, that's a huge piece of advice, because as an individual, you can, obviously you could get angry or reading a comment or an email or something like that, but yeah, definitely taking a moment to breathe, and not, because whatever you're going to say, that's going to reflect on the entire company as a whole.
Right.
So, and then even outside your life, when you're going home, it never stops, right? So you got to prepare for that. Like, you can't turn it off because it's always live. It's like Twitter or in the forums. There's people from all over the world
that's true.
playing your game. So you got to keep in mind that just because you go home doesn't mean your job is done. But you have to learn how to turn it off, right? Sometimes so it's good to turn off. And then yeah, there's rarely cases that I get like a really bad email. And then I'm like fuming. So I'm gonna go take a walk and just think clearly and then respond. Because most of the time, people who are angry and responding to it, because they do care.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they just want to be heard. They just want to be talked to and express their opinion. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry about this situation. Is there anything I can do to help make things more clear or understand the situation? And so a lot of times, our philosophy at Obsidian is always kill them with kindness. Like, no matter what, like, for some people that might irk them even more and they get more pissed off. And for other people, they're like, they'll take a step back and they're like, oh, yeah, sorry I was a dick. Like, I'm like, oh, it's okay. You just, you're passionate and you want us to know your feelings and we understand and we know. We're, message read. And so, yeah, ultimately people just want to be listened to.
Absolutely. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times, as soon as you're kind back to them, they are like, oh, you answered, and their whole
Right.
tone changes as soon as they realize. The other thing is putting your name on it. Like, I talk a lot about private messaging or DMs,
Oh yeah.
but putting your name on things, even if it's
Yeah.
a Twitter DM, if it's at Obsidian, they don't know. Like, when I've messaged at Obsidian, I either get Mikey or Eric. It means a lot if I know who I'm talking to, and it helps for me being a girl too. I find that
Right.
girl or guy, anyone that's angry, if they know it's a girl they're talking to, their tone just changes somehow. I don't mean that to be a sexist thing, but they realize it's like, oh wow, there's somebody there that cares, and it's a woman, and you know what I mean? I don't know why that's different somehow than just, hi, I'm Steve from customer service. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I
I'm a
mean? Oh,
person.
someone's mom is like caring about me. It really is. I don't know. I am a mom, and I have been a babysitter, and I have been a teacher and a secretary, and those all are sort of jobs where you want to care about people and help them, and this is
Right.
just an extension of that. I've used kind of what I've learned in those past experiences just to want to help people. Like, can I make you a sandwich? I'm
Yes, you can. I wouldn't.
right? Like, I'm sorry you have a bug in your game, but also, are you doing okay? Like, did you eat lunch today? Like,
Real mom stuff.
Yeah, it
You got a
is, but-
fever? You right?
but like he
Yeah.
said, they just want to be heard. If they think you care about them, it just takes all the wind out of their sails, and they're just cool with it.
Yeah.
I find most of the time that's what you'll get.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of time, even in social media, when you're tweeting as the company or an organization or a corporation, there's not really a face to that. And
Right.
then so a good community manager job is to humanize the company. Like there's someone you can talk to. So usually when someone is screaming and yelling, they don't know who they're talking to. They're just hoping someone listens to them.
Yeah.
So how do you go about linking sort of your personal brand to the company? Like how how do you go about making it known that, hey, you can reach me at my personal Twitter as well, without just adding your own Twitter in every single tweet you post from the company account?
Yeah, they've done it beautifully. People know who I am on my Twitter because, from things like this, I'll tweet out like any team member that's here, if they're willing, I'll add their Twitter, including my own. and people know on social media, like I've told the community they can, but these guys have taken it to the nth level. Like you have to talk about your streaming and stuff, because that's incredible, and it's super inspirational for me, who's done this forever. These guys have it down.
Oh yeah,
cool.
we got them into streaming from Stoic's channel.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
They did.
Oh.
They're our inspiration for that.
So when we had more time, a lot of free time, but right now it's like crunch time. Myself and our PR manager, Mikey Dowling, we used to every Tuesday and Wednesday night, we would do late night streams from Obsidian to raise money for Extra Life.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's good.
And we were sponsoring the Children's Hospital Orange County, so we worked a deal with Twitch with the help with Jay, or Lorg, if you guys are familiar with him.
Lord.
And he helped us got that sub button. So we were just, every time we stream, we always pitch Extra Life and always remind people during stream. So like all the subscription money goes direct. We take that money and donate it directly to the Children's Hospital Orange County.
That's
and
awesome.
then we have our official like Extra Life donation link, and so so we would stream twice a week, and then we would lead up to a big 24-hour event stream at a different date. Not during BlizzCon. 'Cause, you know.
That'd be a little much.
we have all our employees come in who want to help out, and we have like special guests come in. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with wrestling or MMA, but we had Joey Ryan come to the studio.
Yeah,
with,
Mr. Sleazy.
Yeah, Mr. Sleazy.
He's-
We had Jessamine Duke, who was in MMA, and why am I Basler? I'm skipping on her name for some reason.
Oh, Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler, that's right.
Shayna
I was like,
Baszler.
why
Shayna
am I
Baszler,
skipping her
yeah.
name? They had them come in. So yeah, and they just came in and they were like, oh yeah, let's just check it out. And they had a great time. So yeah, and then so last year, after the event, the 24-hour stream, we raised over $15,000
Wow.
for Extra
That's
Life.
incredible.
Yeah,
And then
they did a great
like
job.
our owners are really supportive of it, and they matched that price and donated
Oh,
to Chop.
wow.
So,
Oh man.
yeah, our owners.
That's
They're
really sick.
really generous, and they helped
Awesome.
us a lot, and they were really supporting our charity streams. So, and then at PAX West or PAX Dev, Mike and I did a panel talk about engaging your community, and Katie was there, and a couple of the Banner Soccer
Nice.
team was there, Stoic.
It's where we met.
Yeah.
Aw.
Birth of a friendship.
It was. Yeah.
It's really great.
And actually, so I went to that panel with our art director and our lead designer, and the three of us came out, and we immediately had about 7 of us there, and 2 other of our team members came up and asked about the panel, so I introduced them to Mikey and Eric, and now we have the same publisher.
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
like-
just kind of been
it was
fated
like
that we
fate.
were going to be
Look at
family.
that.
How about that?
That we're family now.
How
you know?
serendipitous.
Yeah, it worked out really well. So I love the kind of things they're doing. Like he said, it's inspired us to start streaming on Fridays. We stream some of our dev work. Like we've had
that's so
programming
cool.
work, we've had artists, we've had people come in and talk about design. Or if somebody doesn't have work that's kind of if it's too spoilery to show, we'll just have one of our devs play another indie game. We've played Deadfire, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire.
Aw,
That's cute.
Yeah, we do key exchanges with other teams all the time, and sometimes we have the devs. Like Mikey and Eric came in and chatted in the while we were streaming. We have other devs that come in and chat with us. It's been really great. I just love the synergies. So we're gonna look at doing some charity
Look at
stuff
the
as well.
Obsidian emotes. Thanks, guys.
Ah, look at
Hello.
that. We're watching. So for those watching at home, can you take us through like a day in the life? Like as soon as you wake up, I want to know what you eat for breakfast.
yeah.
Man.
I want to know like what kind of sheets you have, thread count, everything, start to finish.
So
Thread
Egyptian
count.
silk. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
There's no such thing as a high enough thread count for me, man. I love it.
I have no idea about that stuff, so I just buy sheets like at Target and hope it's okay.
Me too.
See, guy girl. Vive la difference.
So I usually skip breakfast. I like to sleep in as much as possible before I
too.
can leave to work, so I never eat
Nice.
breakfast. But luckily on Wednesdays it's bagel day at the office. So
Oh, man, bagel
bagels,
day.
I
Yeah.
love bagels.
Yeah.
so usually I come in and I check Twitter first because when you're sleeping, the world's not stopping, right? So
It's on fire.
yeah.
I check the Obsidian account and I check the World of Eternity account, and we go through there, and then I'll go through customer support, go through emails or our ticket system, which is just me really.
Do you use Zendesk?
I am the ticket system.
Yeah, me too. But is it just your email?
No, we don't use it as
Oh,
like we
okay.
don't have Zendesk or anything.
I mean, it's just me too, but I got it all set up in case we need more people.
So,
someday.
but our
Nice.
forums community manager, he sorts out the emails and stuff like that, and puts stuff on my folder, and then I'll do that usually around like after lunchtime, and then I'll talk with the QA team maybe usually they handle them themselves, so I trust them a lot. So and they go through the forums to look for bugs for like the backer beta and stuff like that. And then and after that, I actually do I do like content creation for our YouTube channels for the backer updates. So I film that, and then I work with Mikey Dowling, who like writes the script on that. And after we film it, and I go in and edit everything, and then work with the audio team and all that, and get it reviewed, and then put stuff on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a busy day.
Busy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do the same thing. I would love to sleep in, but I have 2 cats and a dog, all who like to wake me up as soon as the sun is up.
Of course.
Sometimes I can go back to sleep after I feed them, but yeah, I work from home, so I have a little bit of a different day. If I do have breakfast, it's usually something like, I don't know what it is about not eating breakfast that kind of, I don't know, you can think better. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't have bagel day at my house. I should start that. But we have stand-up every day. A lot of our team is on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast. So our stand-up is at 9 a.m. their time, noon my time, or 12:30. And what we call stand-up, in a room, we'd all be standing in the same room together, but we're in 4 locations. And whoever's working from home that day will be another location. So we use a video chat program where you can see all of us.
Cool.
And so we're always checking each other's books and games out behind them and stuff, and they can see my dog and stuff. It's great.
Ah.
So we have stand up every day for, it's supposed to be just a couple minutes each of us, but every single person on the team, from top to bottom, tells what we did the day before, what we're doing that day, and the producers check it all off. And right now it's crunch time for us too, because we're coming out this summer.
Oh yeah.
So it's super busy. And then when that's done, but even before that, I usually meet with my content manager at 11 o'clock my time. So I'll start around 10. I'll make sure I've gone through Twitter and all social media, including forums, Discord, Reddit, and then
everything.
and so from that, we also have a social media calendar that she and I do together. And like I kind of set it up and she knocks it down. Like I'll say, oh, I'd really love a GIF of this, and she'll make it for me. Or I'd really like an MP4. Or we need to post this to YouTube. So she'll help with the content, and then I'll start posting it either just before or after stand-up. Tell the guys what I'm doing that day. Sometimes it's exciting. Sometimes they don't care. and then right after stand-up is usually when I jump into tickets if I've already done my social media. And then I just watch social media all day to see what you guys are saying, if I can retweet stuff. And I also answer reviews. I answer all our reviews on iOS, because we're on every platform. So iOS and Android, and I check the PS4 forums, I check the Xbox forums, I check the Steam and the GOG forums. So I really...
You got all your bases covered.
Yeah, but like I said, I have this conclave in Discord. I also check Discord chat, and we have a lot of streamers and influencers that are in Discord. We have a special channel for them, so anytime anybody goes live with any of the Banner Saga games, it alerts our whole community, which is great. But anytime something's going on and I've missed it, our conclave will say, oh, hey, there's somebody on Reddit, causing a stink.
Mad. Someone's mad somewhere.
Someone's mad on Reddit.
Go put out this fire.
Exactly. And so that's really helpful. But as well, if I'm asleep, that one of them will say, oh, Katie will be on in 8 hours, and she'll answer then.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. So so that's my day. But like he said, you never. Sometimes it's harder working at home because you can leave the office and go home, and even though you're compulsively checking Twitter, you can still kind of leave it a bit behind.
But it works on. I'm on Twitch all the time at work, so I like to jump in and people who are playing our games, like Pillars of Eternity, and I was come in as the Obsidian. I'm like, oh, thanks for streaming the game. Thank you so much.
Too.
And I love to see their reaction, and they're like,
I did that to you.
Yeah. I didn't believe it at first.
I went into Adrian's stream the other day. I'm like, hi.
Some people have to double check, wait, the Obsidian, and then they're like,
yep. I thought you were legit trolling me. This is not the real Stoic Studios.
He did not think. So I was like, hey, do you want some keys to give away? He's like, yeah, is this legit? And so I went
I've covered my bases, man.
I went into the public chat, the main chat, and I was like, just so you guys know, I just gave him keys to give away. So, yeah. And you're like, wait, for real?
You gotta be careful. People show up and say, hey, man, I'm Stoic Studios. You want some keys? Next thing you know, I'm gonna cover some kind of YouTube video.
You know what? I don't blame you at all, but I just thought it was
really
funny.
helps for us because we're verified, so we got the check mark, so people know.
I think I do.
You gotta apply. Let them know.
I think I do have it.
All right.
Gotta get that shiny badge.
Yeah.
But it's great to get back to these are fans that are playing your game and they're showing it off. So it's always good to just jump in there and appreciate them for playing our game.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Feeling so much
You know what? We really do, because and Twitch obviously is so huge, but just the fact that when I see somebody like you guys playing, of course I want to give more people the game and give them a chance, because if they're watching it, maybe they're interested. Like, they might be watching because they love you, they might be watching because they love the game. Either way, if anybody doesn't have the game, I want to give them a chance to get it too.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
That's great. So
Yeah,
both of you guys
absolutely.
talked a little bit about the crazy amount of social media platforms that you run. Of all of them, which would you say is the most important for you to focus on, and why?
Good question.
So
It's tough.
it is tough. Well, I'm fortunate enough that our PR manager, Mikey Dowling, he takes care of Facebook.
Right.
And our marketing director, he handles Reddit.
Okay.
And I mainly focus on Twitch and Twitter.
You do Twitter? Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say, it depends what audience you're trying to reach. Twitter right now for us is probably we get the most traction from it, the most
Yeah.
interaction, the most engagement. And you can do the most with it too. You can post videos, you can post GIFs
Yeah.
and MP4s and images, and
There's nothing better than responding with just a GIF, and
Oh, yeah.
it does
we
everything
do it
you
to
need.
each other
It's
all the
beautiful.
time. Like you
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah.
send each other GIFs.
I remember a couple of times where Mikey was on Twitter and we got in a dance GIF battle.
Yeah.
So
Oh
it
my
was just back
goodness.
and forth, So it's so much fun.
Wasn't it you and I that were doing the Supernatural guys back and forth?
Oh,
Like,
that was all Mikey. Mikey's a big
Oh,
Supernatural
Mikey.
fan.
Yeah, so Mikey and I were
If
going
it's-
back and forth. Like, he was Jared and I was the other one, and we were just going back and forth with this. And there were people that were jumping in the thread going,
Oh my
sorry to
gosh.
interrupt, and I'm backing out now. Like, it was really funny. Lance is the master. Lance from our publisher, Versus Evil. Lance runs the Versus Evil account most of the time, and his gift game is on point. Like, I just can't even with him.
That's great. I feel like that does so much to humanize the company a little bit too, and
Yeah.
make it more personable, and not
Yeah.
just like that's a company.
Yeah, it's
There's a person behind
it's super
it.
important to humanize your country, and that's the talk we gave at PAX Dev. Engage with your fans,
Yeah.
engage with them, and,
Yeah.
and they'll love you for it, and they'll become even more hardcore. So
It's a nice balance too. You have to really determine, and I've gone to my team to check, like, okay, I need to check myself, like, is this too tongue-in-cheek? Like, is this person going to think I'm not taking them seriously? Like, there are moments where you think, oh, a little bit of humor would solve this,
yeah.
and it does the opposite, right? So you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Thankfully, since I've been here, that's never happened. But every once in a while, I'm like, I just check with, like, my producer or program manager will just be like, is this cool, do you think? And they're like, yeah, that sounds good. He doesn't seem angry. He seems, frustrated. Let's cheer him up. So you just have to be, a little of humor goes a long way, I find. So as long as people know you're still taking them seriously, you still really care
Yeah.
about them and value them, then yeah, go for it.
So you
Humor
talked a
is
little bit about
awesome.
your Supernatural thread. Do you guys have any other fun stories about social media content that was really memorable or really worked for you? Any other streams or anything?
I guess I know there's it's like so much feed happening. You're trying
Yeah.
to
All
like
the-
access the database.
We're seeing the Matrix right now as
Yeah.
you're asking us that. I'm like,
All of the files in my
you know
brain.
what? We had a great thread once. Like, I love throwing out a question then you don't know how engaged people are going to get. Like one day I asked, like, what's your favorite place in the Banner Saga world? And, we got about 10 or 14 answers. I was like, okay, not bad. And then one day I asked, did you take the Dredge baby with you or not?
Oh man, that's a good question.
How? All of a sudden, it's like my
I
phone's
did.
just going. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
oh,
what's up?
Dredge baby. Okay.
What's up with
Why?
CRPGs with babies? We got a baby in our game.
Do
You can
you?
stick the baby.
There-
Yeah.
And you
Oh
can
my
pick it up
gosh.
and take it with you.
Yeah. you
Yeah.
could-
So in a year, ask people if they took the baby. Your
Yeah.
feed will blow up. Facebook, man, it lit up, and usually we only get a couple people tagging each other and maybe a couple people saying, "I love your game." Everybody had to talk about the Dredge baby. So I love moments like that where you just kind of plant a seed and then just.
See all the passion.
I love that. I really love that.
Yeah,
a good
there's
question.
a lot of hit or miss, but when you have like something purposefully, or maybe not even purpose, like sometimes. Our PR manager, so when Twitter up to the 240 count, he's like, oh, I wonder what I can do with this, and
Oh
he
my
he
gosh.
listed out every single name of all the games we worked on in the past,
oh wow.
and
That's fantastic.
which are 15
good.
years coming up pretty soon, and at the very end, because we're working on a project that's not announced, All he did was question mark, because that's all the characters he had left, because he didn't know what to do.
Smart.
And
That's brilliant, though.
that just blew
Has
up like
everybody
crazy.
freaking out.
Just like
there was
breadcrumbs
he
in
said
the
there was
forest.
about 50 articles written about that tweet.
Wow.
Of
Yeah.
course.
For one
Yeah.
tweet.
Creating
Yeah,
theories.
right.
Is it going to be this game? Who knows?
Yeah, and it's-
Confirmed.
Like the fans were going crazy, speculating what it could be, and we have we have a lot of diehard fans, particularly for Fallout. So they thought it was going to be Fallout.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you mentioned that. But that brings up a good point, too, is just saying something off the cuff like that. I've been quoted in articles. I'll just say something like, I can't remember. Somebody said something recently, and I answered them. And my answer was quoted in game news articles. And Banner Saga says this, and I'm like, oh no, it's just me answering a dude. And I mean, it was fine, thank goodness. And that's one thing. I don't know if you do this, but I'm gonna tell a little industry secret now. You never say will or are. You say things like we plan to, we hope to.
Yep.
So
Smart.
The
someone will
OS.
say, so is
Be
the
vague.
Yes.
yeah, but not in a bad way. We just
Oh, yeah.
really mean it. Like if somebody says, "Hey, is launch still this summer?" I'm like, "That's the plan."
Yep.
It's not because I'm saying no. It's actually next spring. It's because I'm
don't know
saying,
for sure.
if we all die in a fire, it might
Then-
be a little later.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say
True.
it definitely is, because I've just learned to never say that about anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, I answered a guy, and all of a sudden I was quoted. We have Promoter, which is an app that runs in our Slack channel. And all of a sudden, Promoter's like, Banner Saga says this. I was like, I just said that. That's so weird that they're saying that.
The fire rises.
Yeah,
That was
just
all
be
you're
so
doing.
Careful. No,
Yeah.
just have to be careful what you say, because you
It's
never know
very
when you're
true.
going to be quoted. Like he said,
Yeah.
you're the face of the company. You're speaking on behalf of the whole company.
Yeah, that even kind of affects personal life too, because even though if you have your own personal Twitter account, it still reflects on the company because you represent that company. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
When they have more questions about this kind of stuff and they want to personally contact you about this kind of stuff or more community management stuff, where can they get a hold of you?
there's a lot of places. So on our Discord channel, I have Ask the Dev channel, so we have a lot of people to ask questions, and
So cool.
and I'll answer if I can, and if I can, I'll go ask someone who can, and I'll reply back. Or yeah, on the forums, I got a lot of direct messages on our forums. I rarely get questions on Twitter, oddly enough. Yeah.
Woohoo. Yeah, so for me, same thing. Like Discord, we invite everybody right now to come into Discord. Our whole team is in there, and you can tag them. We don't even ask the dev channel. I like that. We've broken
Yeah,
ours
do it.
into
Steal it.
community chat. We have spoilers for Saga 1 and 2. We have a spoilers for Saga
Yep.
3
Spoiler
channel now.
channels, very important.
Yeah,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
then we also have the streamer notifications channel. I have an announcements channel, but you can ask. We also have our Kickstarter backers channel, which is awesome, and so it's gated, so you have to have your code to actually get into that channel.
That's cool.
If you're a
That's cool.
Kickstarter backer, you've got your
Ooh.
code, so you can join us in there. But the devs are happy to jump in. It's crunch time, so they're in there
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
less right now, but they're happy to jump in if you tag them. I'm going to do Ask the Devs. I like that.
Yeah, do it.
We have forums, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. You know my Twitter because it's on this stream. Like, yeah, you can ask us anything you want, anywhere you can find me.
Oh, yeah.
Come up in PAX and ask me.
The
Yeah.
best way is support email, like support@obsidian.net, because I'm always on there, and
Yep.
just add us on Twitter, @Obsidian, @World of Eternity.
Support
I'll
at
see it.
stokestudio.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Studio.
There you go.
And your Twitter is?
I am at Katie, KHATIE.
On behalf of just all of your fans, I just want to
Sorry,
thank
sorry.
you guys, because it's clear that you both put so much time and energy and love into
Sure.
bringing the community together, and that's so inspiring to see. So thank you for what you do.
No, thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
It was fun.
It was fun. And
Thank you
everyone,
for your time.
yeah, it was
Thank you,
good.
sir.
They're not shouting into the wind. They are listening to you guys. So you feel like you're shouting into the wind and no one's hearing you.
They're
They are
hearing you,
listening.
and
Put
they
the hearts
care.
in the air
Yeah, even if we don't respond because we're busy, we still see it, so don't worry.
We do see it.
Yeah.
and be nice and hang out here for
Yeah.
more nice content coming up very soon. Sit tight.